If you love me, please don't judge me. Got my hands tied, the power's above me. Don't shoot the messenger, I'm just a puppet here. If you wanna place blame, then look to the puppeteer. Family, fortune, envy, jealousy, privilege, passed on, legacy, secret, sabotage, borderline, felony, suicide, subtract, selfish, pedigree, yeah.
So even though the Cup Series is off this week, we still had some racing going on with F1 racing in shithole country. And then NASCAR, its official return to the Rock with Xfinity trucks in ARCA East. As for the first time in 12 years, we can finally say, finally, the Rock has come back to the NASCAR schedule. With NASCAR's most anticipated return to the Rock. And the crowd had really good support for all the races this weekend, including a sellout crowd for ARCA. Jesus Christ, a sellout crowd for ARCA? Didn't have that one on my bingo card for 2025, but hey, there's always a first for everything. So let's take a look at how this weekend fared. So first off, we had the Truck Series race at Rockingham. Of course, the last time the Truck Series was here was all the way back in 2013. When Kyle Larson got his first NASCAR touring win of any kind in the top 3 series. And of course, we all saw how much that win has helped boost Larson's career in the last 12 years. And we're just gonna leave it at that because I don't think we need to remind anybody of Larson's career. I think it could speak for itself. But to this race itself, it was actually a pretty solid truck race overall. The first 2 stages were won by Lane Riggs. It was a very tame race. I got all 3 races this weekend. Trucks was the only one that was actually a perfect balance of good racing that plus wasn't a complete shit show. Hell, the last 77 laps went caution-free the entire way, which forced this race into a fuel mileage race. And in the end, it was looking like it was going to be a battle for the win between Tyler Ankrum and Chandler Smith after Corey Heim would run out of gas in the closing laps. And then Chandler Smith would run out of gas with 2 laps to go. And Chandler Smith fans, I'm going to say this. Chandler running out of gas is the least of Chandler's worries right now. As, of course, we all heard earlier this week, Chandler Smith's about to go through a nasty divorce with his wife. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is going on with Chandler Smith's career and life? Jesus Christ. What the fuck did he do to the racing gods after getting screwed out of the championship last year? He didn't even complain about it too much. But good God, his life and career have gone into an interesting downward spiral ever since he got screwed out of the Xfinity championship last year because of bullshit chase format. Because ever since last November, ever since he got screwed out of title, he loses his Xfinity ride at JGR and Xfinity, has to drop back down to trucks to front row, and now his marriage has gone down the shitter. So ever since he got screwed out of the title last year, not only has Chandler's career gone down the shitter, his entire personal life and marriage has gone down the shitter too. Good fucking Lord. And I say, Chandler Smith fans, is buckle up. This divorce is nasty, it's about to get ugly. Because divorces never fucking end well. However, up front, one driver that doesn't have to worry about this divorce drama is Tyler Ankrum. While up front, Ankrum was able to save his fuel mileage and make the fuel live. And for the first time in 6 years, Tyler Ankrum has won a race in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. His second career Truck Series win ends a 131 race winless streak in trucks, with his one and only win dating all the way back to Kentucky in 2019. Ironically, that Kentucky win was also a fuel mileage win when he outlasted Brett Moffitt on gas. So yeah, both of Ankrum's wins have come in fuel mileage races. And Ankrum gets the win at NASCAR's return at the Rock. Honestly, good for Ankrum. It's been a long time since he had a win. Good to see him finally get one here. But yeah, I think it's safe to say Tyler Ankrum's got this fuel mileage thing figured out pretty well. I mean, both wins have come on fuel mileage strategies, so not bad for Ankrum. A well-deserved win for him. But yeah, this Rockingham race is also pretty interesting. Also, with this Truck Series race also having a 77-lap run to end the race, it also means that this truck race has set a new series record. Because this Truck Series race was the 21st consecutive race the Truck Series did not have a green, white checker finish, which is now a new series record, breaking the previous record of 20 green, white checker, 20 straight races without a green, white checker attempt. So hey, Truck Series knows how to fucking race, Queen, without fucking wrecking each other like a bunch of stupid, talentless bitches. Maybe Cup and Xfinity could take notes from the Truck Series. I mean, also at the same time, the Truck Series field did have that private drivers-only meeting after Phoenix, after that embarrassment at Phoenix 2 years ago. And I don't know what the hell happened in that meeting or what was said, but whatever happened in that meeting, it obviously worked and the message got received. Because the last time Truck Series had a green-white checker finish was North Wilkesboro last year. We're almost coming up to a whole year without a Truck Series green-white checker finish. So, hey, whatever happened at Phoenix after Phoenix in 2023, it obviously worked. Aussie Truck Series, keep it up. But because I would say if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But we all know if with NASCAR, if it ain't broke, they're going to bash the fuck out of it with a hammer real soon. So even though Truck Series has had a good run so far, we all wonder how NASCAR is going to fuck this up. But hey, at least it was a solid race at Rockingham and a really great crowd for a truck race. So the fans showed out for that race. Now on to the ARCA East race. And the ARCA East race, this race was mainly the Brett Cruz show domination from flag to flag. As Brett Cruz dominated this ARCA East race at The Rock, which had a really large field with 29 cars in the field, which for ARCA East, that's really fucking good to have 29 cars in the field when it isn't a combo race with main ARCA. So yeah, that's really good for just a main ARCA East race, because usually most ARCA East races, they usually average like 12, 15 cars when it's not a combo race with main ARCA. So that's really good to see that field count in a good solid race. But yeah, Brett Cruz dominated, even despite the best efforts from William Solowich, who was making a rare one-off start in the ARCA East to get more track time to prepare for Xfinity. Just in the end, he just didn't have the answers for Brett Cruz. And Brett Cruz goes on and gets the win at The Rock. And the ARCA East return to The Rock. So, good job to Brett Cruz on getting the win. Really, and a really good crowd for ARCA East. Like a sellout crowd. But I know most of that crowd was mainly for Xfinity, but, seeing that many fans in attendance for an ARCA East race, that's really fucking good. Like, in terms of fan support this weekend for The Rock, the fans, they actually came out and showed up and supported. Which, that was going to be the big question coming into this weekend, is would the fans actually show up? And in terms of track attendance, they lived up to their end of the deal. But in terms of other things, we now got to wait on TV ratings to decide that. If we want to get a Cup Series return to The Rock someday. But before we get any of that, though, we still got an Xfinity race at The Rock to talk about. As for the Xfinity Series, it was the first time in nearly 21 years that Xfinity has run at The Rock. So it's been a hot minute since Xfinity was last here. So of course, this race was really good. Well, it was really good when they weren't fucking wrecking all the goddamn time. There are a lot of comers and goers in this race. We had a lot of pit strategy with cautions coming out late in the stage. That saw some pretty surprising stage results, including Dean Thompson getting a stage win. Dean Thompson getting a stage win on a non-super speedway. Damn, I didn't have that one on my 2025 NASCAR bingo card. But fuck. But overall, it was actually a pretty solid race. Like, mainly throughout most of this race, Jesse Love mainly dominated a good chunk of this race for most of it. Like, he had one of the top cars throughout the race, along with Sammy Smith and many others. But, of course, then we had a couple late race cautions and a little fuel mileage bunch things up. Because at one point, it looked like Ryan Sieg maybe was going to finally get his first career Xfinity win in the late going, until he just ran out of gas and fell short. And then on the second last restart, we would end up with a big crash after a car ran out of gas, and it wrecked the entire field up, forcing a big caution. It took out some pretty good cars too, like it took out Justin Allgaier and Carson Kvapil and Brandon Jones. Took out some pretty good cars in that crash, which forced the red flag. And then on the next restart, it would go a couple more laps until Connor Silich went Spinola. And then Silich would almost save it until he clipped Sam Mayer, and then Sam Mayer would spin out and another wreck would happen. Also, earlier in the race, we had another Catherine Legge incident, with Catherine Legge getting taken out by William Solowich and collecting the returning Casey Kane. Damn, all that hype for Casey Kane's return this weekend. Especially with NASCAR going all in on the Casey Kane Friday meme. Only in the end for it to end up ending like that. And Casey Kane had a pretty good car too until Catherine Legg and William Sawalich wrecked each other. Which led to that happening. God damn it, and Catherine really needed the goddamn oval experience too. That sucks. Honestly, I think Catherine will be better off racing on road courses. Because, good lord, she cannot do well on a fucking oval track. She just needs to run more road course races, but good god. And that one wasn't really her fault because she gave Sawalich a lane. Just Sawalich decided that wasn't good enough and didn't take advantage of the space. Like, honestly, that was just probably miscommunication from Sawalich and the spotter. Like, there should have been better communication to deal with a lab car in that situation. But yeah, just pretty disappointing there. But in the end, race would go to green-white checkers. The 5th time in 10 races Xfinity has gone to green-white checkers. Like, so far, here's the green-white checker count in Xfinity Trucks and Cup. Well, Trucks, they've had 0 overtime so far. Through 9 races in Cup, we've had only 3 green-white checker finishes. Of course, last year at this point a year ago, there were 3 green-white checkered finishes in Cup at this point a year ago. And in the end, we ended up with 14, especially throughout the summer month portion was when all the green-white checkers happened during the summer portion of the season. And of course, Xfinity so far, we've had 5 through 10 races. I mean, I think, and a lot of fans are slowly starting to get fed up with it, mainly because it's starting to happen every single fucking week. And it usually screws a driver that probably deserved to win out of the win. And in the end, on the restart, Jesse Love will get a better launch on the restart than Sammy Smith. And Jesse Love will pull away on the green-white checker attempt. And at least it was only one attempt and it ended on a green. With Jesse Love getting the win at the Rock. So Jesse Wynn gets his 2nd win of the season. His first multi-win Genjitsu. Because right as I was about to mention the part where Jesse Love wasn't even alive the last time Xfinity raced here at the Rock, we gotta throw that out in the garbage because hold up. We got a penalty. Beep. Because Jesse Love's car failed post-race inspection with a rear suspension violation in the truck trail arm. So as a result, Jesse Love has been disqualified. Which in the end, that means the win will now go to Sammy Smith. And Sammy Smith, he already would have won the Dash for Cash anyway without the green-white checkers or Jesse Love, or before the Jesse Love DQ. But now with this, it means Jesse Love now wins everything this weekend. The race and Dash for Cash. And this was the last Dash for Cash race this season. So yeah, without green-white checkers, after the DQ, it didn't matter with green-white checkers, Sammy Smith would have won anyway. Which honestly, with Sammy Smith winning via DQ after green-white checkers, it kind of just made the green-white checker finish seem kind of pointless and just feel like a waste of time. Because honestly, what was the point of even running that green-white checker attempt anyway if Sammy Smith was going to win anyway? Like, it just made it seem pointless and a waste of time. I mean, overall, though, for Xfinity, it was a really good race. When they weren't wrecking each other like a bunch of stupid dipshits. You know, overall, I would say Rockingham was a solid weekend. I know some people may criticize Xfinity because of the whole because of how many crashes there were in the Caution Fest it was. But let's be honest, the Caution Fest thing, that could happen at any fucking racetrack under any given circumstances. Especially next weekend when we go to Talladega, Butthole Country. The Butthole Country. Where will be butthole shown in the Talladega infield again. But yeah, that can happen anywhere. But overall, I'd say it was a successful return to the Rock overall. Now, in terms of the Cup Series, I would say yes, the Cup Series should be back here, but at the same time, no. The Cup Series with the current car they have, it would suck at this track. Because this track now sucks because this car sucks at short tracks. And oh, by the way, Rockingham is now officially listed as a short track because they remeasured the track before this weekend. As now this track is measured at 0.94 miles long. Which is now a short track by track measurements. So yeah, I mean, if this car was better on short tracks and they had more horsepower, then yeah, I'd be 100% on board with it. But I would probably say maybe not until they fix the car and get the car fixed up and get those issues solved. Plus, the track does need a few renovations, though, to get it up to par for Cup standards. But I mean, overall, the track looked pretty good for a track that's been dead for 11 years. So not bad overall. You know, maybe someday we'll have The Rock come back to the schedule. Someday. But hey, if anyone wants to know, well, anyone wondering how we can get Rockingham on a Cup schedule as a points paying race? Well, you got 9 tracks on the schedule with 2 races. 10 if you count the Charlotte Oval and the Charlotte Roval. So just pick one of those tracks to take a date away and problem solved. It wouldn't be popular to take a date away from a track like a Bristol or Dega or Daytona or whatnot, or hell, even Atlanta or Martinsville. But I'll say this, hey, if we want to come back to Rockingham, or if we want to go back to Chicagoland, or if we want to run in Canada in one day in Montreal, or go across the pond in Europe, or go hell, even run in Brazil and Interlagos someday, or hell, if we ever want to bring North Wilkesboro in for a points paying date, like if we want to do any of that in the Cup Series in the future, sacrifices have to be made, and tough choices will have to be had. But sometimes the right choice can be an unpopular one. Unless you give it time, then maybe you can understand it. And you can thank everyone later. That's why I've always been on board with no track having 2 dates. Honestly, I don't think tracks should have 2 dates on the Cup schedule, because I think it just takes an opportunity away from somebody that's equally deserving of a Cup date. And Rockingham is deserving of a Cup date. They just got to get a few kinks worked out, and it should work out well. I mean, crowd support was definitely there. Like, the crowd support is there, as the fans have shown that they showed out for Rockingham. But before we can continue on and end this out, we still got one more race to talk about. As now it's time to talk about the F1 race in Saudi Arabia. One of the fucking tracks I fucking hate F1 going to, because it's in shithole country. Yep, welcome to Saudi Arabia, a land full of corrupt oil, corrupt blood money. Let's be honest, the only reason anybody brings sporting events here is because of the money. Because Saudi Arabia will pay a shitload of money to bring any sporting event over, from WWE to F1 and golf. Let's be honest on that part. Let's be honest. Or hell, they even bring a shitload of money to bring the UFC over as well. Let's be honest. If they didn't pay a shitload of money to any sports league, would anybody even bother coming to this shithole country? No? Yeah, I'm in the same boat as you there, no. But anyway, to the race, though. Well, this race looked like it was going to be an old run flashback to the last few years when Verstappen got the pole for this race. Until Verstappen put himself in a hole right out of the bat, as on the first lap, him and Oscar Piastri would race each other hard into turn 1, and then Piastri wouldn't give an inch to Verstappen, because we all know how aggressive Verstappen is, and Piastri is showing that he's not like Lando. He's the one McLaren driver that actually has balls. And these balls are made of steel. And Verstappen got spooked and run off the track to keep his position. As even though he tried to make the argument that he was forced off by Piastri, which no, he wasn't. Verstappen just ran out of space and just went voluntarily underneath it. As Verstappen never gave the spot back. And the FI decided that, Verstappen, you ain't getting the calls no more because you're no longer British. And since you didn't give the spot back, 5-second penalty for you for leaving the track to gain an advantage. Beep! As Verstappen gets a 5-second penalty, as Verstappen just simply responded by saying, fucking simply lovely. Well, Verstappen, make sure you throw 25 cents in the F1 swear jar while you're at it when you come serve the penalty. As Verstappen would later serve the penalty on pit road during his pit stop, and during that pit stop, he would also make his voluntary 25-cent donation to the F1 swear jar. Which is starting to get pretty full here. Damn, we're probably going to need another swear jar at this rate. With how many times drivers have sworn this year, we may need another swear jar at this rate. Maybe a couple more. We might have to get a colossal one just for Verstappen alone. Also on lap 1, we would have a crash with Yuki Tsunoda and Pierre Gasly. Oof, wow, after the good run that Yuki had in Japan to get some points for Red Bull, he then crashes out again. Not really his fault, just very shit luck there. Plus, that's what happens when you race on a narrow track like Saudi Arabia, too. But in the end, once Verstappen served the penalty, it then became a battle between Leclerc and Oscar Piastri, as Piastri would end up getting the lead, especially after Lando pitted for tires. And once Piastri got the lead, Piastri never looked back. Even despite Verstappen's best efforts to try and run him down, he just in the end, that 5-second penalty was too big of a hole for Verstappen to come back from. And Oscar Piastri comes in and wins in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, gets his third win of the season. And for the first time in Oscar Piastri's young F1 career, Oscar Piastri has won back-to-back F1 races. And also with the win, plus Verstappen finishing second and Lando Norris finishing fourth, it now means that for the first time in Oscar Piastri's career, Oscar Piastri is officially leading the Drivers' Championship in F1, overtaking Lando Norris for the championship. So yeah, of course, last week I talked about how maybe Piastri took the comments about the championship being Lando versus Verstappen too personally. I think he did take it personally. Because now Piastri is saying not so fast to both Lando and Verstappen fans. Saying, no, I'm in this championship fight too. Piastri now has a 10-point lead in the championship over Lando Norris, and a 12-point lead over Verstappen in the championship. As Verstappen, he cuts the gap down to Lando Norris, but he loses ground now to Piastri in the championship. And of course, well, we don't need to talk about the Constructors' title because McLaren's bitch slapping the field in that category here. But like I said, the Driver's title is the one where it's going to be wide open this year. I mean, Piastri, I think, is a solid choice for the championship, too, considering he's already won 3 of the first 5 races to open the season. But of course, like I mentioned before in a season-long points format, the season's not a sprint, it's a marathon. We're only 5 races in. We're not even a quarter of the way through the season yet. We'll be close to a quarter through the season after our next race in a couple weeks when the F1 heads to Miami in a couple weeks to go for their first stop on American soil. That will be a couple weeks from now on May 4th, aka the Star Wars holiday. But yeah, Oscar Piastri gets the win. Also lost in this whole thing was Charles Leclerc finishing third and finally getting Ferrari their first podium of the season. Holy shit, Ferrari didn't fuck up the pit strategy as well this week, and they finally got a podium. Their efforts finally paid off this week. Don't worry, Ferrari, you're taking baby steps. Next step is now winning a race, which that may or may not be too hard because of Oscar Piastri having more balls than Lando. And also, Lando, have fun. Good luck getting team orders now, because you ain't getting team orders no more. It's considering that you and Oscar are now 1-2 in the championship, and Oscar's ahead of you. Honestly, good for McLaren not giving team orders to anybody now. Good. Honestly, fuck team orders. They're stupid and dumb. And honestly, team orders should be fucking illegal in F1 as well. By the way, I mean, it was an average race at Saudi Arabia. I mean, it's Saudi Arabia. What else do you expect in this dump of a country? But at least next week they go to a real country. But at least in a couple weeks from now, F1 will come to a real country named America. Yeah, for F1's first stop in America. See you all in a couple weeks. But of course, next week, see you all for the Cup race at Talladega. Butthole country time.